When Kirk Frost reportedly proposes to Jasmine Washington, Rashida breaks down in tears. An in-depth look at the drama and emotional turmoil. Dramatic moments that show the actor's unadulterated emotions have long been the lifeblood of reality television. But occasionally, the distinction between amusement and actual suffering can become hazy, drawing viewers in and making them interested in the characters' emotional journeys rather than just keeping them glued to their screens. One such instance was on Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, when it was stated that fan favorite Rasheeda Frost was taken by surprise when her husband Kirk Frost proposed to his former affair partner Jasmine Washington. Rasheeda broke down in tears as a result of the heartbreaking emotional consequences from this revelation, which also raised public concerns about treachery, loyalty, and love. The complexity of relationships were brought to light by this intensely emotional event, especially in the high-stakes realm of reality TV, where personal affairs are frequently shared with the public. The timeline leading up to this emotional collapse, the significance of Kirk's proposal to Jasmine, and the emotional toll it took on Rashida and others around her will all be covered in this article. The context: an exciting relationship. Since the start of the show, Kirk and Rashida's relationship has been one of the most talked about on Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. Both passionate love and difficult obstacles have characterized their path, many of which have been captured on camera for millions of viewers to see. Kirk and Rashida seem to be a stable pair from the outside, juggling their careers and families. In the Atlanta entertainment industry, Kirk, a music executive, and Rashida, a prosperous entrepreneur, appeared to be the quintessential power couple. But in later seasons, especially when Kirk's adultery became a major plot point, the rifts in their relationship started to appear. The program disclosed in 2017 that Kirk, who had been dating Jasmine Washington behind Rashida's back, was the father of a child with her. The public disintegration of Kirk and Rashida's marriage began with this news, which shocked the Love and Hip Hop fandom. Rashida struggled with the betrayal of the guy she had made her life with after learning of the affair and the kid. The series' main focus was the consequences from the affair, with Kirk trying to make peace and get back together with Rashida. Although Rashida's faith in him remained shattered, it appeared for a while that she was prepared to give him another try. There were times of hope, fury, and finally an attempt at healing during their emotional roller coaster of a relationship. The proposal, a startling development. Kirk shocked everyone by allegedly popping the question to Jasmine Washington, the woman he had an affair with and fathered a kid with, in what appeared to be an attempt at atonement. Both the audience and Rashida, who was still trying to mend her marriage and her life after years of suffering, were taken aback by the proposal. Unquestionably, Kirk's choice to pop the question to Jasmine was a treacherous act that rocked the Love and Hip Hop world. Now, the guy who had caused Rashida such much pain was getting ready to marry the woman who had destroyed their family. This was the ultimate emotional betrayal for Rashida, leaving her humiliated and finally forced to face the possibility that her husband's love may never have been hers in the first place. The proposal's timing was particularly important. Rashida had been concentrating on her career, her family, and her personal development in an effort to get back on her feet following the fallout from the affair. Although Kirk's actions served as a devastating reminder that the foundation of their marriage had been irreparably shattered, she had displayed great resilience in the face of public humiliation. Rashida was once again left to pick up the pieces of her broken heart when it became apparent that the wounds had not completely healed after Kirk proposed to Jasmine. Rashida's psychological disintegration, the anguish of betrayal. Rashida's emotions were running high as word of Kirk's proposal circulated. She revealed, with tears in her eyes, how shocked and devastated she was by the circumstances. In addition to her husband's betrayal, Rashida also had to endure the public humiliation of having to relive her suffering on national television. She cried as a mother, businesswoman, and partner who had sacrificed everything for her marriage only to have it ruined in front of the world, not simply as a woman who had been scorned. Rashida's emotional collapse exposed the intense internal conflict she was going through. On the one hand, she had put a lot of effort into mending her relationship with Kirk, trying to forgive him for his previous transgressions and restore the lost trust. However, she had to face the fact that Kirk might not have loved her as much as she had thought. The proposal to Jasmine appeared to be the last straw, shattering the facade of the life she had worked so hard to build. Many viewers saw Rashida's tears as a representation of the emotional toll that betrayal and infidelity can have on a person, in addition to being an indication of her own suffering. Rashida's anguish was evident, and her openness at that particular moment made her accessible to a great number of others who have gone through similar tragedy in their own relationships. The function of reality TV and publicity. The part that Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, and reality TV in general played in raising the drama's emotional stakes is among the most intriguing parts of this scenario. It's simple to forget that the people involved are actual people with actual sentiments in a society where people's private lives are frequently made public for entertainment purposes. The choice to publicly display her suffering and heartache was probably not something Rashida had anticipated. Rashida had to strike a careful balance because reality TV frequently blurs the distinction between performance and genuineness. She was a part of a show that took advantage of her emotional anguish, but she was also using the opportunity to convey her story, her recovery, and her resiliency. The fact that this was happening on national television surely added to the proposal and Rashida's emotional response to it. Although reality television enables viewers to interact with celebrities on a personal level, it also compels them to manage their most intimate moments while being seen by the public. Rashida's pain was shared with an audience that had been following her journey from the start, so it was no longer simply her own. The aftermath, convalescence, and progress. Rashida had to pick up the pieces of her life after Kirk's proposal to Jasmine, which was an emotional roller coaster. The emotional and relational healing journey was never going to be simple. It required Rashida to stand back and reassess her value, her relationship with Kirk, and her future. Rashida has always demonstrated extraordinary fortitude in the face of hardship, even though she was obviously saddened. She has repeatedly demonstrated over the years that she is a lady who does not allow her suffering to define her. Rashida's path was about regaining her sense of self and finding the strength to move forward, regardless of whether she chooses to continue seeing Kirk or end their relationship. The healing process that Rashida underwent after the proposal became a significant plot point. She started concentrating more on her own growth, her children, and her enterprises. Despite all of the obstacles she had to overcome, she made use of her public position to connect with other women who might be experiencing similar difficulties and share her perspective. Rashida's narrative is ultimately one of empowerment. Even though the proposal to Jasmine was a painful event, Rashida's development and self-discovery were accelerated by it. It served as a reminder of her value and her capacity to rise above even the most traumatic betrayals. In conclusion, the intricacy of forgiveness, loyalty, and love. A striking reminder of the complexities of love, devotion, and forgiveness was provided by Rashida's emotional collapse in response to Kirk's proposal to Jasmine Washington. It was a moment that touched on universal themes of trust, treachery, and the difficulty of recovering from severe emotional traumas, going beyond the realm of reality TV. In addition to her husband's adultery, Rashida wanted to regain her authority and her tranquility in a society that frequently expects more of women than they are prepared to provide. One thing is evident as viewers of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta follow Rashida's journey, that if the hurt of betrayal may never completely go away, the ability to go on and heal is something that cannot be taken away. Rashida's tale will always be one of elegance, tenacity, and the unyielding conviction that she deserves happiness on her own terms, regardless of whether her marriage to Kirk survives this most recent setback.